Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land, going live a few seconds early. Wanted to talk a little bit about this Penn State situation. It would appear they have their guy. They've gone with Matt Campbell out of Iowa State, and I'll show you that on X. You're seeing a lot of that. Welcome, Matt Campbell, etc. Penn State. And a lot of people are talking about it, obviously. Matt Campbell, source Penn State to hire Iowa State. Matt Campbell, blah, 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 blah. So that's good news for Penn State. They have not had a lot of good news since they fired James Franklin. This season's kind of turned into a dumpster fire on them, which is, and I've never had a problem with Penn State, honestly, until they started calling my guy Josh Heupel. And that's where this one draws the line. And, of course, we know what Josh told them.
Just walk away.
Yeah, he told them to just walk away. Don't even come in here. And they've gone through look, for Matt, this screams Brian Harsin out of Boise State. That's what this feels like when Auburn hired Brian Harsin. You're bringing in a guy he's had success there at Iowa State, but I mean, it's not crazy success. They went through Curt Cignetti and Matt Rule. That was really their first two. And I almost feel like they fired James Franklin in a fit after UCLA and I guess Northwestern beat them, which was not expected at all. And they kind of freaked out and fired him. And then all of a sudden, well, we're Penn State. Anybody will want this job. It's like, not so much, because they saw what you did to a guy that's been winning like crazy. And so they tried Jeff Brom at Louisville recently, Sataki over at BYU. He turned them down. Of course, Josh Heupel, we know about that. And I'm sure many others turned them down. And part of this might have been Jimmy Sexton. James Franklin's, my understanding is that's his agent, and Jimmy might not have been real happy about it. He might have been steering some people away given the expectations at Penn State. And look, I understand getting spoiled. I do. We did that back in the Fulmer days, and we thought, oh, we can just get anybody. And then Lane totally creaked us. And we wind up with that dadgum Dooley cat, which that put us down a bad road. And I feel like Penn State may have done the same thing. You may have gotten rid of the golden goose way too early, because when you look at their records, I mean, I'll show you, you're going to see a big difference. Let's take a look at Matt Campbell's record first and see what you're getting. Now, wait a minute. Wrong one. This one. This is the right one. All right, of course. See, you make a mistake. That's the thing about going live, folks. That's the thing about going live. Let's see. That should be Wikipedia. Oh, yeah, there we go. Man, it's frustrating. All right, so here is Matt Campbell's record. Of course, he was at Toledo for a while, and then he went to Iowa State. And you can see 3-9 the first year, then 8-5, 8-5, 7-6. Had a good year in 2020 of 9-3, then 7-6, 4-8, 7-6, and then he had the one big year in 2024, and then he's 8-4 this year. All right, folks, that's, that's a record. Are you impressed? I mean, he's a good quality coach. I'm not sitting here ripping on the guy, and I understand Penn State was on their at least 6th choice and probably their 10th or 12th. So, I hate to say this about Penn State, but beggars can't be choosers. Y'all were, and oh God, your recruiting is so bad right now. I almost can't believe it. I'm going to show you folks this recruiting, and you're going to be shocked. If you don't already know how bad it is, I'm going to pull this thing up because it's beyond belief where it's at. And here's the thing. Let me add this back and get back in here. Well, let me see. Here's my team at number 7, Tennessee. Ohio State just jumped us because I think they picked up, they may have got their 5-star wide receiver. I believe they did, Chris Henry. But anyway, it's going to be a while. It's going to take me a minute to get down to where Penn State is. And that was the top 50. Let's get to the top 100 here. And they're not anywhere in the top 100. And I've got to hit load more again. Now, I think we're going to find them here somewhere. Hold on. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding? They're not past 150. I don't think that's possible. Maybe I missed them somewhere. Oh, my gosh. 155, folks. 155. They got two guys. Two. Matt Campbell's, he's going to be dealing with a lot. Now, he can still sign guys, but the good ones are gone for the most part. And he's going to have to spend a lot of time in the portal. Too much time. This is problematic for a guy coming in fresh. And Penn State is going to have to take this into consideration that, all of James Franklin's guys, they went to Virginia Tech. That's what they did because they wanted to play for Franklin. Franklin is very popular. He's a player's coach. And I was talking, and I've told you this story, Bull and P over at Blue Chip Breakdown, they're both former college players, and P played for Vanderbilt back in the day. And he said James Franklin was an excellent coach and that the players loved him and they'd run through a brick wall for him. And I can totally believe that because he was winning big at Vanderbilt when nobody could. All right, this is pre-Diego Pavia. Nobody could win at Vanderbilt, and he was killing it. So I want to take a look-see at let's take a look at his record because I don't feel like it was that just seemed like a crazy firing to me. Let me get in here. Let's go back to his Vanderbilt days. Folks, I want you to look at this. Dude went 9-4 2 years in a row at Vanderbilt. 2 years in a row at Okay, so right then and there, he's not a good coach, a great coach. You cannot go 9-4 there back during that era with no NIL. You just couldn't do it. And I know that period of time because we were losing to them, believe it or not. And yes, I know we got beat by Diego, but we'd beaten them 6 or 7 years in a row. All right, let's go back and see how he did under Penn State. Started out the first 2 years, and of course, he took over a very difficult situation. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And let's see, James Franklin here. Then he went, good grief, 11-3, tied for first in the conference, 11-2, 9-4. 9-4, 11-2, and then here he had a struggle during the virus year of unknown origin. 7-6 the year after that. Then he went. Look at these last 3 years, folks. 11-2, 10-3, 13-3. Made it to the Final Four. So he won 34 ball games in 3 years. So 11.3 win average. Then they struggled in 2025, and they lost those 2 games they should not have lost. And they were ranked number 1 at one time. So this was a panic move. That's all it can be at this. That's just a panic move. I mean, look at that. You fired this coach. You fired a guy that went 11, 10, and 13 wins. You fired him over 2 ball games. You don't give him a chance to redeem himself at all? At least keep him to the end of the year. What difference would it have made? You still wind up with Matt Campbell. See, this is when you get spoiled. Here's what it is. Familiarity breeds resentment. And there's no truer comment than that. And that happens when you've had a coach that gets you up to a certain level and you get used to it. And you're like, well, we're just this close. No, you're not this close. Okay, you got to beat Ohio State and Oregon, and they're spending about $10 to $20 million more than you are in NIL. The fact that he got you that close was great coaching. Great, and that's nothing against Penn State. It's a fine university. You've had success, but that's great coaching that he got you to the Final Four and you fire him over 2 lousy games because Nico went crazy on you one day. They went 3-9 at UCLA. We'll be talking about them later, but no, this firing didn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. And I'm sure a lot of you probably feel the same way. Let me see here. And oh, by the way, I know y'all have got Ohio State people are probably in here. I know you got your 5-star. And I think it was Pinky in the house told me that. I did some of that video when I was talking about the Legend Bay guy. I did some of that video last night, so I didn't have that information this morning. And it takes some of my videos take crazy long time to put together. That's just because I'm a nut. I have to have everything a certain way, and it's just I do too much of that. But anyway, yeah, that's what killed him. He couldn't beat Ohio State, but I mean, he beat everybody else. Look, Ohio State's hard to beat. That's just a fact. Yeah, Chris Henry, that's his name. Yeah, I knew he was committed, but he hadn't signed. So he must have signed. Did he sign today, right? He must have signed this morning probably. So anyway, I'm not excited for this hire for them long term, but given the circumstances, they did hire a good quality coach. But did they improve over James Franklin? Based on the record, absolutely not. No, not based on the record. I'm not sitting here ripping on Matt Campbell. I think he's a fine coach. I really do. And he's done well there at Iowa State. And I'm sure they're upset at Iowa State. It's going to be hard to replace him. But Jiminy Christmas, people. Penn State right now is probably celebrating. They're probably feeling yeah, they're probably celebrating because they're just so relieved. Like this guy over here behind me, he was crying. Now he's got a little bit of tears of joy, but I don't know. I was watching Landry, the Landry Show. If you know, I can't remember his first name. Good YouTuber, and he was talking about Matt Campbell. He said they need to go get Matt Campbell, and he was the one that was talking about Jimmy Sexton and all that kind of stuff. And I would not put it past Mr. Sexton that he was not happy about James Franklin getting fired. And y'all got really lucky in that there were tons of schools that would love to have had Franklin, and Virginia Tech hit it out of the park getting him. You Hokies out there, y'all are lucky, lucky dogs. I mean, you must have a rabbit's foot in your pocket. How in the crap did you get James Franklin? And he brought all his recruits. You're in the top 20, I think. Actually, let's see where they are in recruiting. I mean, you talking about some lucky – God, y'all caught every break in the world. You really did. Let's see, recruiting. What did I do with that? Here it is. And I got to go way back to get to Virginia Tech. Let's see where they're – I think they're in the top 25 or something. Yeah, 23rd. Right there you are. You're in a top 25 in recruiting after you fired your coach. And y'all were not in a good situation at all. You fired him early on, and then you somehow lucked into James Franklin. And I hope you signed him to a long-term deal and he can't get out of it because now you got a top 25 recruiting class, and he put that together in a few weeks. And what he did was he took the Penn State recruits. And Franklin was like, okay, see, let's just see what you can do without the guys that I brought in. And he took them. He was not happy, I can tell you right now. And I probably felt a little bit unappreciated up there. So here's what I will tell you, Mr. Franklin. You're going to be very appreciated at Virginia Tech. Those Hokies, they take football very seriously. They want to be good. They will support the crap out of you. They will support you like no other. Don't pull a Lane Kiffin. If you have success there, don't pull a Lane Kiffin. Stay with them. They'll get you where you want to go, and they'll treat you the way you deserve. And you won't have to deal with this kind of crap anymore, because that was a huge mistake by Penn State. I don't care. They'll be Penn State. They'll be in the comments. Oh, what are you talking about? He didn't beat Ohio State. If you can't beat Ohio State, we don't want you. Yeah, he beat everybody else. Won 34 games in 3 years. 34 games, and you fire him. God, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. What are you doing? Oh, the top 25. Okay. So the other games don't matter. Okay. Yeah, and he's in the ACC. He's going to love that. Dude, he's going to love being in the ACC. I mean, the toughest teams there are Clemson, who they're struggling, and Dabo didn't recruit so well this year. I think they were 18th. And then really Georgia Tech has kind of come out as one of the best ones. Brent Key's doing a great job down there. Let me think who else is in the ACC that's good. Let's see. Virginia, all of a sudden, I don't know how they're any good. Their recruiting's awful. But they've managed to win some games. They're playing in the conference championship tomorrow. That's a big game. They can get in the playoffs. Virginia. Oh, man, that's amazing to me. So I think James Franklin will dominate the ACC. I think he and Dabo, and I don't know about Mike Norvell. Oh, I heard and read in an article that FSU was after Lane Kiffin. Yeah, I knew there was 4 teams after him. I thought it was Penn State. It was actually FSU. I might even do a video on that one. That could be a fun one to do. I'm telling you, Lane caused a lot of craziness the last few weeks. And he always brings a lot of it on himself. He can't help it. That's just who Lane is. Lane is a problem everywhere he goes. He's a bad breaker-upper. Jerry Seinfeld had it right. Yeah, it's a great look. If you're Virginia Tech, you got to be thrilled. And I'm sure Penn State's relieved. I mean, really, that was the best available was Matt Campbell. It's a solid hire. He'll have a lot of support up there first few years, but here's the thing, Matt. You have to beat Ohio State and you have to beat Oregon. And they assume you're going to beat all the other teams. And if you don't, you see what happens. So, I don't know. Well, the problem is Kiffin wins. He wins. And that's the big thing. You know, he's won in a place you're not supposed to win, and that's Ole Miss. And that gets you great respect among coaches and fan bases, especially in the SEC, because Ole Miss is not supposed to do that. They're supposed to be one of the cellar dwellers, and they're not. 11-1. And Vanderbilt, the other cellar dweller, went 10-2, and they're not getting in the playoff. I'm telling you, if they'd have just gone to 16 2 years ago, we wouldn't have had all this crap that happened the last 24 months. But they got to wait. They have to do it piecemeal. You can't just go to the 16, let the top 8 play the bottom 8, and the top 8 get to play it at home. You know how much money that is to the hometowns of those colleges, to the Oxfords, to a Knoxville, Tennessee, if they had a home game, or a Tuscaloosa. I mean, you're talking tens of millions of dollars besides the TV rights money, and you'll get more TV rights money with having 16 because you pick up like 6 more ball games, which is huge. I mean, everybody's going to watch the playoff. So I'm looking forward to. Now, of course, we have some games tonight. We've got the group of 5, I believe. Those will be interesting. So should be fun. But I'm happy for Penn State that they got a quality. I'm not happy for Iowa State. They didn't deserve this because they'll probably go get a group of 5 guy or maybe an assistant coach or somebody like that. They've had success there, but not a ton. So they're probably not that upset about it, I wouldn't think. And Penn State's happy right now. There's going to be a lot of questioning this hiring process because it was a cluster F. There's no question about it. It was a dumpster fire. And the athletic director there, I go back to the familiarity breeds resentment. What it boils down to is the only Nick Saban has been able to really last more than 10 years without the fan base turning on him. It's hard to be anywhere more than 10 years. That's sort of the expiration date for teams, especially teams that have a high opinion of themselves. It was it John, the Kentucky basketball coach that he quit or got fired, and then they brought in Mark Pope. He's the guy that said Kentucky basketball is a 10-year job, and that's it, and it expires. And after that, they're going to get sick of you. And that's happened about everywhere that I've seen. It's really hard to stay more than 10 years because even if you're successful, if you're not just winning natty after natty, Saban got away with it because he won 6 natties. So they couldn't. As a matter of fact, it was getting to the point people were getting so bored with winning down there that they would leave in the third quarter. And he came out after a game and he said, if you keep leaving in the third and fourth quarters on me. He said, I'll leave. How would you like that? And I mean, it was within 24 hours. Alabama fans were like, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. We'll stay. We'll stay to the fifth quarter. Is there a fifth quarter? We'll stay, sir. Oh, man, I'm telling you, he got their attention quick. Alabama fans were like, whoa, wait a minute, Nick. We didn't know we upset you. We don't want you to go anywhere. And he didn't have any more trouble after that, which was one of my favorite things I've ever done. It was the reverse rat poison. You can spoil a team and a fan base too much. And I think that's what James Franklin did that. He didn't get he got him to the brass ring. It was right there. And it was hard to do that. And he did it 3 years in a row, and he didn't grab the ring. He almost got it, but he didn't get it. And so they got upset. And they're like, well, he just can't get the ring. So if you can't get the ring, you need to get out of here. And then he lost to those two teams he shouldn't have lost to. UCLA, which I watched that game, that defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, who they got from Ohio State. I know the Ohio State people had to be dying laughing during that game. Leaves Ohio State, goes to Penn State. How'd that work out? And I'm sitting here going, Nico's going to run in the second half. He's already started running in the first half. You might want to put a spy on him. And they never did. And he ran all over them. It was his one really good game that he had this year. And I cannot believe, John Calipari is his name, Kentucky. But it was incredible. It was like, you're being paid $3 million to be the defensive coordinator at Penn State, and you're not going to put a spy on him. And so he just ran the ball the entire second half and managed to hold him off. And that loss was a shot heard around the world for Penn State. They were done. Right then, they were done. They said, here is a team that can't beat anybody, which was UCLA. They'd fired their coach, their defensive coordinator. They had Nico, who couldn't do much of anything. And they'd already been beaten by UNLV and the Lobos. Two group of five teams had dominated them. And you're sitting here going, holy crap. And then Penn State gets beat by them. And it was just – and I think what it was, Penn State was coming off that loss to Oregon. They were dejected. They were dejected as they could be. They go out to UCLA. They're thinking, all we got to do is roll the football out here. We'll beat the dog crap out of them. And they had a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach that had kind of pumped up the team. And they threw some stuff at them they weren't expecting. And Nico started running, which he hadn't done much all year. And they didn't see it coming. And Jim Knowles he really, if you wanted to let somebody go, that was the guy you should have let go over that game, not James Franklin. But they got jumped. That's what they got jumped. And it was out there at UCLA in front of 10,000 rabid fans out there at the Rose Bowl. Because that's about all they hold out there. I think they put tarps all over the Rose Bowl, and then they have one little section, and it's sold out. And they put about 10,000 people in there and beat, and most of them were Penn State people. That's what the funny thing, about 8,000 of them were Penn State people that had traveled all the way across the country. So anyway, wanted to break this news. Penn State, I'm glad you got your guy. You shouldn't have fired James Franklin. Virginia Tech thanks you. Never go after a Tennessee head coach again. I didn't appreciate, well, unless he's no good. That wasn't the case this time. Then you could have him. But not that we're fickle. But anyway, I wanted to break this news. I'm happy for Penn State. They got a coach. I really don't have any problem with you, Penn State. I really don't. It's just you made me mad when you went after Josh. I'll let it go. Believe me, I'll let it go. I won't hold a grudge on you. Maybe. But I had to get a laugh over this. And so did these three guys right here. Look at Franklin back here. He's loving it. Sataki, there's my guy Josh. They're having a little good laugh with you, but at least you got a smile on your face. I'm happy for you for that. And if you like this content, you know what to do. I had to break this live. It was fun. Anyway, I appreciate all y'all showing up. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.